Agatha Christie, born Agatha Mary Clarissa Miller on September 15, 1890, in Torquay, Devon, England, remains one of the most celebrated and prolific writers in literary history. Known as the Queen of Mystery, Christie's influence on detective fiction is unparalleled, with her works continuing to captivate millions worldwide, decades after her death. Early life and background. Agatha was born into a wealthy upper-middle-class family. Her father, Frederick Alva Miller, was an American stockbroker, and her mother, Clarissa Margaret Burmer, came from a well-to-do English family. Despite her privileged upbringing, Agatha's childhood was somewhat unconventional for the time. She was largely educated at home by her mother, who encouraged her creativity and imagination rather than enforcing strict academic discipline. This nurturing environment allowed young Agatha to develop a keen love for reading and storytelling. As a child, Christie was shy and reserved but showed an early fascination with detective stories, which would later shape her career. She began writing short stories at a young age and took an early interest in drama and literature. In her teenage years, she attended a finishing school in Paris, where she gained fluency in French, a skill she would later use in her writing. Early adulthood and World War I. In 1912, Agatha married Archibald Christie, a Royal Flying Corps officer. Their marriage was a supportive partnership during the early years, although it would later face difficulties. When World War I broke out in 1914, Agatha contributed to the war effort by working in a hospital dispensary, where she gained knowledge of pharmaceuticals and poisons, a detail that added realism and intrigue to many of her later mysteries. The birth of a mystery legend. Agatha Christie's first novel, The Mysterious Affair at Styles, was published in 1920. This novel introduced one of her most famous creations, the Belgian detective Hercule Poirot, a meticulous and brilliant detective with a flair for solving complex puzzles. The novel was well received and laid the foundation for what would become a long and illustrious writing career. Following this, Christie introduced another iconic character, Miss Jane Marple, an elderly amateur detective who relied on her shrewd understanding of human nature and village life to solve crimes. Both Poirot and Miss Marple became beloved figures in detective fiction, starring in dozens of novels and short stories. Personal tragedy and mystery. In the early 1920s, Christie faced personal turmoil. Her mother died in 1926, a loss that profoundly affected her. Later that same year, after a difficult period marked by her husband's infidelity and their subsequent separation, Agatha herself disappeared mysteriously for 11 days. This episode became a sensational news story, with the public and press speculating about her whereabouts and mental state. She was eventually found staying at a hotel under an assumed name, reportedly suffering from amnesia and exhaustion. The true reasons for her disappearance remain a subject of speculation, but it marked a turning point in her life and career. Prolific writing career and legacy. Agatha Christie's writing output was extraordinary. Over her lifetime, she wrote more than 60 detective novels, 14 short story collections, and the world's longest-running play, The Mousetrap, which opened in London's West End in 1952 and ran continuously for more than 6 decades. Her stories are known for their clever plots, intricate puzzles, and memorable characters. Christie's work often featured clever use of red herrings, surprise endings, and an emphasis on logical deduction. Her understanding of human psychology allowed her to craft compelling villains and motives. She also wrote under the pseudonym Mary Westmacott, producing 6 romantic novels that explored different themes. Later years and honors. In 1930, Agatha married archaeologist Sir Max Mallowan, with whom she traveled extensively, particularly to the Middle East. These travels inspired settings and details in some of her later novels, such as Murder in Mesopotamia and Death on the Nile. Agatha Christie's contribution to literature was formally recognized in 1956 when she was appointed a Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire, DBE, for her services to literature. She continued writing well into her later years, adapting to changing tastes while maintaining the classic elements that defined her style. Christie died peacefully in her sleep on January 12, 1976, at the age of 85, leaving behind a literary legacy that remains unmatched. Impact and influence. Agatha Christie's books have sold over 2 billion copies worldwide, translated into over 100 languages. Her stories have been adapted countless times into films, television series, radio dramas, and stage plays. Her influence extends beyond literature into popular culture, inspiring generations of mystery writers. Her work helped to popularize the whodunit genre and established many of the tropes now standard in detective fiction. Through her complex characters and suspenseful storytelling, Christie created immersive worlds where readers could test their wits alongside her detectives. Conclusion. Agatha Christie was much more than a best-selling author. She was a pioneer who transformed the detective genre and captivated readers with her wit, imagination, and mastery of suspense. From her early days in Devon to her world travels with her archaeologist husband, Christie's life was filled with intriguing stories that paralleled the mystery novels she crafted so expertly. Today, she remains the undisputed queen of mystery, whose legacy continues to enchant readers and mystery lovers around the globe.